It's the
That little
spirit of
line.
the soon-to-be aborted child. I came back, mother.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Payne.
Hello. Oh shoot! I didn't even come up with Christmas facts because this week was stupid.
Really busy. That's fine.
Yeah.
Then, while you look up Christmas facts that might fit, I will yawn a little bit. And
Okay.
and then spoilers ahead. I don't know if we've been doing that every episode.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. But yeah, so this episode is the Halloween episode, and it's probably the most intentionally scary movie out of all of the ones we've watched so far on the list.
I don't know. I've realized on other episodes, specifically the one with not Blackjack, J2, that because we recorded so many people, then I went all out of order and just like I think it was later. I'm like, I think I ruined the timeline there. Oh well.
Oh, we've ruined the timeline as soon as we started because if anyone watches us on YouTube, they'll see my hair is drastically different for like one of the last episodes in the series.
Let me see. Let me look at our list here. Yeah, I don't know. This one. Oh, that's there. There we go. I'm just gonna say where to go. I'm gonna say this one because it sort of fits. It is The Naughty Ghost Boy. South African families leave cookies for Santa Claus, just like elsewhere in the world. But apparently kids kept eating them, so now parents tell their children the story of Danny, a boy who tried to eat Santa's cookies. He's caught by his grandmother, so she killed him. Now Danny's ghost haunts homes of naughty children at Christmas. Seems a little extreme, but okay.
Look, if Grandma is upset that the cookies are getting eaten by not Santa Claus, Grandma has to take it into her own hands.
And Grandma's gonna be pissed at the naughty boy that's in this movie. That sounds really gross to say.
But you said it, and it's been recorded.
It's there, and I'll be like, I'll fix it in post. I'm not. But yeah, I don't know. This definitely was actually funny enough. Like while watching this, I thought I was hearing something in my apartment. I'm like, what the heck is that noise? And I paused it, and I'm sitting there like, what the heck is this? And then like I go over to like where my door is, and people were enjoying each other's presents very loudly.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, that's not the noise I was expecting to hear.
Do you still have the same downstairs neighbors, or do you have different downstairs neighbors?
I have one of the downstairs neighbors still there, and this one is this one is on my floor, and he's already very loud, and his girlfriend is louder. Especially when certain activities are happening.
Yeah, because I remember you saying you had one neighbor that you were like clockwork. You're like, oh, it's that time of night. I'm definitely gonna hear the neighbors.
Mm-hmm. No.
So this is not the same neighbor.
No. I heard them have an argument, and then it was quiet for a couple weeks. And then, I don't know, there's still noises, such as apartment life, but I don't know. It be what it be. So, I
will just say that I'm proud of myself for putting the movies in this order. I knew this one would be probably the best to put on actual Halloween, but it is very interesting to put this unintentionally putting this between Blood Beat, which was like, it wanted to be this kind of movie, but it absolutely wasn't. And then Rare Exports, that is like this movie, but very Christmas leaning instead of the horror leaning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely seem to get more Christmassy. I think Rare Export. Well, I don't know. We haven't watched the other movies on this list. I feel like the one. I can't remember if we spoiled it or not. The one with Maddie. I feel like that one could have been closer to actual Christmas as well.
Yeah, but we also wanted to make sure that the man himself
Oh
in the
yes,
title is as close to Christmas as possible.
that's right, guys. Tim Allen's Santa Claus, the scariest of all horror movies.
Yeah, we've got two movies with Santa in the title, so that's why I was like, let's put those like pretty close to Christmas, if not Christmas itself.
I was like, we do, and then I looked up one. I'm like, oh, that's the one I suggested.
Yeah.
Oh man, we've been talking about that one for like over a year.
The guest that we have on that will either be so delighted to be able to not have to think critically about a movie, or will think so critically about a movie that they'll be like, please.
I already had to like when I told them what we were doing, they were like, "Oh, okay, that's not really my forte, but I could figure something out." I'm like, "No, we have a movie for you." And he's like, "Oh well, yeah." He is like, "Oh, okay," and I'm just like, "Yeah." So we'll reach back. I'll reach out probably in November to record. So, but yes, yeah, I don't know. Week's been weeking.
It's been weeking. Yes. If you have the timer set up, we can jump into the movie for this episode then, because you did say you have a lot of things you might have to squeeze in before other plans this evening.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. This wouldn't be a big of an issue if someone didn't get called into work yesterday for us to do Pathfinder, but like, we kind of committed to a monthly thing for the end of the year because there's potentially some life change happening with some of the other players. It's good life change, but yeah, it's just definitely one of the things. I'm like, okay, so I gotta do this, and this, and potentially this.
All right. Get that timer. All right, let's get our dice roll to see who gets to do the little blurb about the movie that we watched, Black Christmas. We have a percentile dice, so what is it? Lowest number out of 100 gets to give the little synopsis.
Yes.
Call of Cthulhu rules.
There we go. That's a D20. There we go.
I don't think it's me this week. I'd be surprised.
I rolled a 200.
Cheater.
I rolled a 20. A nat 20.
Nat 20?
Yeah.
Wow. I rolled 68. One away.
I was half expecting to be like, I rolled a 6. I'm like, you just said you weren't going to win. So yes, once again, if you guys were not listening to Hop as she was sharing, spoilers. And if this is your first episode, welcome. I don't know.
To spoilers.
Welcome to spoilers. But the movie's also been out for like 30 to 40 years. So
it came out in 1974, and I'll bring up why I know this is because I watched it with Strider, and Strider was like, when did Texas Chainsaw Massacre come out? Also in 1974. And he was like, okay, when did Black Christmas come out in relation to Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Texas Chainsaw, I think, premiered October 11th of 1974, and Black Christmas premiered in Toronto in October 20th, 1974. Yeah, it's kind of a fun fact, eh? So it's
it's way better than the fact that I came up with.
Almost a 50-year-old movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely I didn't realize they came out in the same year. Man, that's like, I wonder if there's any other horror movies that came out in 1974.
Yeah, because we were thinking about it. We were like, which one inspired which? And because I can see where this movie is kind of like the basis to a lot of like other horror movies. Like you can see where the horror genre was still trying to figure itself out in the 70s before it got really established in the 80s. And we were like, oh, this looks like something in Texas Chainsaw. We were like, oh, no, they just happened to be at the same time.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll do a quick minute synopsis, and then there will be 30 minutes of super spoilery, talky, walky nonsense. And then after that, Hop has follow-up questions. I just find it a little buck wild that the trailer for this movie is like the last scene that they're showing on.
I didn't
on
even realize. That's kind of funny. I do like the movie poster.
Yes, movie poster good. Okay, here we go. Quick synopsis. Bada bing, bada boom. So pretty much we are at a very fancy sorority house. It looks and not. It's definitely a different style of sorority than is shown in the modern era because, I don't know. It's just
they don't look like clones.
Yeah, they don't look like clones, and they all don't like. What are you talking about? So anyway, we have that. It's established very early on in the movie that they keep having this person call that is harassing them over the phone and just pretty much. In short, they call him the Moaner, I believe, and yeah. So while they're there, I gotta pause this trailer because it's very distracting. This pretty much everyone's going home on Christmas break, and then slowly over the course of the movie, different people start disappearing, to where pretty much the whole crux of the movie is trying to find. Whatever her name is. I forgot the first
Claire.
girl. Claire. Yeah, I was looking through the IMDb. I'm like, I don't see her there. There she is. Yeah, trying to find Claire, who was her dad's supposed to be picking her up, and she is nowhere to be found. And they go searching to the point where, yeah, it turns out the killer is a little bit closer to home than one realized. And I figure everything else will come out in our conversation. If you guys listen to the guest episodes, you can get like a deep dive on every little bit of the episode, of the movie. But yeah.
All right, let me know when the timer has begun.
Okay, I'm starting in 3, 2, 1.
On instinct, I was gonna clap. Same kind of countdown. No, the clap that we do before we sync our audios. Yeah, so I will say I had a lot of fun with this movie. It was slower paced than I thought, but I think it's hard to watch this movie for the first time if you watch a lot of other horror, is how I would put it. Because in the very beginning, I was like, oh, is this the origins of the calls coming from inside the house?
Same thing.
So, like, the reveals, I think, for the time period were probably solid, but the reveals now, it's kind of like, oh, I've seen this. Mm-hmm. And that's not this movie's fault, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, no, that's just time. Mm-hmm. I will say, like, I'm sitting there watching the movie, and then it's got like like we were watching it, no doubt, but the beginning of the movie, it like has the like POV of the person
climbing the trellis,
well, like walking up, and I'm just like, you just hear, and I'm like, did someone just snort? What the heck just happened?
I like that, like, there's the heavy breathing, and I was joking, and I was like, I bet this guy's heavy breathing not because the director told him to heavy breathe, but because he has this whole camera set up, and it's the 70s, and you know it's not a, like, easy setup to carry around. Mm-hmm. And then especially, he has to climb the trellis, and he's like...
he's like, if I fall, my back is gone. Yeah. No, there's a lot of, like, neat little camera tricks. Like, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I remember, what is it, The Exorcist, they had to, like, specifically, like, at that time, create a different style of camera shot and rigging for them to get the
scenes.
It was the scene of, I think, when she walks down the stairs or up the stairs. It's, like, pretty much they had to, like, point the camera down a little bit more, and then they had like this pulley system that they would like have a team pulling this guy sitting in a harness, like going up the stairs to record, so they didn't have like each step and stuff. Like, I'm like, did they do something like that to get it up there? I don't know. I will say something, because I watched a handful of movies from the 70s. I think I really like something I like about the 70 movies from the 70s is that they just take their, like, I don't even know if they're taking their time. It's just like, this is like the thing. Like, it's just like, okay,
it feels very character based, which is what surprised me, because I feel like a lot of other horrors, like, I went into this thinking it was a slasher, so when they actually fully developed all the female characters, I was like, they're not just a bunch of drunk girls in college, they have actual thoughts in their heads. This is kind of nice.
They got the one.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, the main character is like a full character. One thing,
where was this movie set? I couldn't tell.
I don't know.
Because I felt
like... She was British.
Yeah, but it was like, I thought when she first started talking in the movie, she wasn't. And then all of a sudden...
Hello!
Yeah, she's like, hello? Claire, you sleeping? And then it's just like, no, I don't want to have your child. And I'm like, what?
I know. And then, like, some of the scenes when they're walking around with, like, the church architecture, I was like, I don't know where they are. I mean, it is a Canadian movie. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't look up where it was filmed, so it could be like that part of it.
Yeah.
I just remember the cop cars had like Bedford on the side. I don't know what Bedford, like, is that like Massachusetts? Is that?
I don't know. I thought it was. It could also be England. Hold on.
But everybody else was American. There's literally only one British person.
Yeah, you only needed the one to cause confusion.
There is a Bedford in Massachusetts. And there's a Bedford, Texas, but this is not Texas. Not with that amount of snow.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. I'm scanning through the... Because it's not really that important to the movie. But like,
it is curious, yeah.
Yeah.
Where was Black Christmas filmed? Toronto in 1974.
Yeah. But like, I didn't know if that's where it took place. It could be. Yeah, shot in Toronto. Oh.
Yeah, it says Toronto, Ontario, Canada is where the Bedford police station was for the filming.
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't matter. I will say, for a slasher film.
Oh, Bedford is a municipality in Nova Scotia, Canada.
Oh.
All right.
There we go. I will say, though, like, for, like, hailed as one of the first slasher movies, I'm like, oh no, in my head I always, like, when I think of slasher, I think of someone running around with a knife, and I'm like, I don't think there was a lot of that.
No, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I thought it was, a slasher, but like, I know Texas Chainsaw is credited with being formative of the genre and also being formative of Final Girl. So so at the end of the movie, Starter and I were like, it's 50-50 whether or not she makes it out, because Texas Chainsaw is the one that set up the Final Girl scenario where like one girl gets out at the end of the movie, and we were like,
Yeah. I do want to talk about the closing, but we can do that later.
Once we get towards everything. Okay, so let me see. Before I completely forget everything, what I will say is, I think my favorite thing about this movie is, like I said, the women had brains, at least like two-ish of the main female characters from the sorority. Mm-hmm. And then I also really liked how... it was kind of like older horror where you never saw death on the screen. You just saw like the dead bodies and like, what was it?
You didn't see the act of murder.
Yeah, but it had some cool shots relating to it. Like the, we were making fun of the first girl when the first girl was like, Claude the cat, are you in my closet and 6 feet tall? What are you doing? And
yeah, she deserved it.
That was very slasher, where it was like, hun, don't do that.
Is Claude the cat, or was Claude her boyfriend?
Claude's the cat. Chris is her boyfriend. The one that I was like, that's a 40-year-old man with the bushiest eyebrows I've ever seen.
That was something else I was watching. I was like, these people are in college, they all look like 40-year-olds.
The girls looked young. The guys, not really.
Some of them, yeah. Except for the guy who they kept telling to be Santa, who's just like F Christmas in front of like all the kids, and they're like
cursing in front of them,
like, and drinking.
As the one girl's getting the one kid. He's like, "Are you sloshed, little 8-year-old? I think you're hammered." I was like, "Oh, please stop her. You're supposed to be an adult looking for your daughter. Please stop her."
Oh well.
But yeah, but I liked the shot with the glass unicorn. I thought that was a very cool shot, and I also liked the silly moments with the old alcoholic lady where she's in the attic.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, oh, "Who's behind?" Whoosh.
What? And the whole time, Claude, you stupid cat, as like,
look what you made me do.
As the dad's just like, okay. She's like, I'll be right out.
He could totally smell the alcohol. Also, I would hope an alcoholic could find better hiding places than the toilet tank for your bathroom mouthwash.
Well, that's the thing. She had like alcohol littered all over that place.
It was in a book. It was in the coat closet.
Yeah.
She had it in her bedroom. And then the toilet.
So, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I guess she had to be like, I don't know, 30 years old by the way everyone looked. So no, but
I did think it was really funny when she asked the guy to like give her a ride, and she was putting on her lipstick, and then the cat was meowing, and she only got like a quarter of her lipstick on, and he comes up the stairs and looks at her lipstick and goes, "I'll be downstairs."
Yeah. And then the other thing, like, where he's like looking at her room, like his daughter's room, and like
she's covering
just,
the
like,
poster,
just the butt. She's like, yeah, and I'm like,
she's a good girl. She doesn't drink. She doesn't have sex. She doesn't do anything.
And then it's like the next scene, he's like, oh, everyone thinks their daughter's a princess, and me, and it's my job to that. And then they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, no, she definitely brought levity. I will say the murderer was super lucky that for the first 2/3 of this movie,
people were singing very loudly.
Well, that, but also everyone that he killed just so happened to be people that said, "Oh yeah, no, I'm leaving within a couple hours."
But also, he's in the house. He's listening.
Was he? I don't know. Like, I know he was in the house, but like how well.
The reason I say he's listening is because he does use a quote against the one girl to make her think.
Yes. Yeesh. I will also say, if that's that dude's reaction not doing well in the test, I agree with Jess that dude should not be a father.
Yes. Yeah. When the thing that I laughed so much at this one particular scene, they cut to her and her boyfriend in front of the Christmas tree, and he's just shouting, "You selfish bitch!" And I just started laughing. And Strider was like, "You know what it was? It felt like Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia." Because it was quiet, and then suddenly, "You selfish bitch!" I was like, "Oh my god." But yeah, I agree. Because, well, realistically, I think after he shouted that, I was like, man, just let this man sleep with her. And probably more than once if she got pregnant with his kid and they're actively dating. Because, yeah, he's like, "You know I have my recital. You can't distract me from my recital. If you ruin the recital for me, oh, Jess, you're going to see it." And she's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant." And he's like, "Oh, lovely. I'll quit everything in my life and we'll raise the baby." And she's like, "But what about me? I have hopes and dreams." Yeah. And he's like, "You selfish bitch.
How dare you?"
How dare you talk? What's the line? Oh, "You're talking about it like you're getting a wart removed." Or something. And the girl's just like, I'm not trying to have a kid. I don't want to get married. I don't want this.
You're really building this case for me to have this kid.
I know, the cops were a mess in this movie.
No, one cop was a mess.
Well, the other one,
Sergeant
the other detective. Nash. Yeah, but the other detective, I think Buchanan, who was just sitting there.
Yeah, his whole line was just laughing. But to be, like, I don't know, I think now, like, the way movies are filmed, like, it feels like that would be so out of place. But I'm like, I don't know, honestly, like, with all the tensions of dead kid, sorority house, like, people
Stalking.
Missing, everything. And then you have this bumbling idiot of a sergeant that's just, like, wrote down, what was it? Felicio.
Yeah.
And it's, like, end of the night, like, I could just see, like, them just like, okay.
Having the sleepy ha-has.
The sleepy ha-has, but then also just like, just the pressure, like, releasing some of the pressure of just like, Nash, you're an idiot.
I was so mad at Nash when it came to the end of the movie, where the detective is like, don't screw it up.
Yes.
Don't sound stressed out. Don't scare her. This is a sensitive situation. And Nash is like, okay. Yes. Nash, there's somebody in the house. Get out of the house.
To his credit, he did try, but Jess was like, what?
He did it in such a stupid way where he's like, go outside now. Don't ask questions. Just do it. And she's like, I don't understand what you're telling me. He's like, I told you what to do, you dumb bitch. Just go outside.
Yeah.
Where Strider and I were like, in hindsight, us watching this as like surveyors, if he literally said the detective wants to meet you outside in 5 minutes, please be outside and ready, she probably would have done it without being like, what's going on? What's happening?
Well, like, the whole thing was she only went upstairs because the 2 other people were up there.
No, yeah, because he was stupid. He was like, is someone else in the house with you? And she was like, yeah, these 2. And he's like, okay, I need you to go outside. She's like, and leave the 2 girls upstairs alone?
They're lost causes.
Just go.
One of them deserves it for making me look like a fool. So, but yeah.
He really, they went, Nash, de-escalate the issue. And he just escalated it through the roof.
I will escalate it. No, escalate. Didn't catch that part.
Yeah, but I know you said you wanted to talk about the ending of it a bit.
Yeah, I was just seeing if there was anything else that was there. Just a few other things that like kind of made me laugh a little bit was just like the drunk girl, I forgot her name, but
Barbara,
yeah, who was just like kind of being a turd to everybody,
belligerent.
Yeah. and she was like all that, and then like wakes up like dying, and it's just like needs her inhaler and everything. I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I don't know a lot about asthma,
but I know that's not how you use an inhaler. Oh, and then the smoking.
And then, like, the amount of cigarettes you've been smoking. I'm like, that can't be helping that. Also, the children's choir looked so tortured.
I know.
They're just like,
I joked that they were a bigger jump scare for me than most of the movie. Yeah. Because everything was quiet, and then they just start singing. I was like, who are these kids?
Yeah. I don't know, it was like, it's very interesting where it's just like, because at this point they're like, you have to keep this dude on the line so we can get we can track where they are, and it's like she's stressed out about this. At that point she's the only one in the house except for Barb, excuse me, and then the children's choir is just there, just like, oh, like, for audio listeners, it's just like, let's get a whole bunch of like children that looked like they had the life drained from them to go sing Christmas.
I know. And then Strider was like, wait a second, do they not know about the 13-year-old that was murdered? And then as soon as they finished the full song, they're like, did you know a 13-year-old was murdered? And the girl's like, yes.
Yes.
Oh, I did really enjoy the part where they had the vigilantes for the search party show up.
Yeah.
Oh, you girls, you better lock your windows, you better lock your doors. I've got my gun. We're gonna check on you. Everything's safe. Did you know a girl died today? We're gonna check in on you. You'll be fine. Just keep everything locked.
It felt like a Saturday Night Live skit happened right there. They're like, there's like, okay, wait, one more thing. I have to tell you.
Yeah, it was fun to see Phyllis, Phil for short, go like, I would rather run into the killer than deal with those guys.
Yeah. And then I also wrote like, how is this cop so bad at his job? Like Nash, and then the other question I have is like, did that dude that's coming in, did he just get shot in the junk? Like, and then there's like, I'd do it again if he came to my property.
Yeah, and then they go, he's got a buckshot in his butt, and I was like, why isn't he at the hospital if he has shrapnel in his butt cheeks?
So yeah, there was all I'm just thinking of what's his name? Forrest Gump. I got shot in the buttocks.
Oh.
But yeah, so let's see. I think that was pretty much.
Yeah, I wanted to leave you plenty of time to talk about the ending, because the ending was pretty divisive between Strider and I.
All right, so I'm just gonna get into it, and you know what? If we go over, we have like 10 minutes left. It may or may not take all that. Mm-hmm. So pretty much, I would say the ending starts for, I guess, where debate could happen is not Claire? Jess. Jess comes up to check on Barb because she's like checking. This is after she's told to leave the house. She
has her fire poker.
Yes, and it's super quiet, and she's trying to get the people out. I think she goes to check on Phil's room first.
No, it's Barbara's. Because
okay. I thought the door closed or something. I thought there was something that like pulled her attention that way, and so she goes in. The door's a little bit stuck. She forces it open. She sees Barb and Phil dead,
piled all together.
Yeah, and I think like one of my favorite shot of the whole film is she looks up into the crack between the door and the frame, and there's an eye just like, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's creepy. I would, if I was in real life, I'd pee my pants. If I was Jess, I'd pee. So she like kind of punches the door, pretty much runs to the basement, locks it. We hear banging at the door to the point where it gets very quiet, and she goes to hide downstairs in the basement. She's kind of creeping around in there. We see people. We see like
an outline of a shadow.
Yeah, an outline of a shadow walking around, trying to look in as she hides in different places. Cracks the window open, and it shows psycho boyfriend,
Phil, Peter or Phil?
I think it's Peter. Phil is the girl that was.
Oh, Phyllis. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I like Chris's new picture, his new IMDb picture, Art Hindle. He looks. It's just a sweet picture on his IMDb. Yeah. So,
with the sunglasses.
Yeah, he looks like a blues artist. Anyway, this is important. So she runs down the basement. Window cracks open. It's Peter, and he's like kind of creeping around the place, and pretty much looks over, sees her, and he's like, "Hey, what's wrong, buddy?" I don't remember exactly what he says. Comes in. Camera cuts. Now it's sometime later, or a couple minutes later. We see that the person that was the police officer supposed to be watching the house had his neck cut. We have the detective and his partner and like everyone's kind of going through. They go to the basement, find Jess knocked out and boyfriend dead, or I don't know. It's unconscious,
covered in blood.
Yeah, it's they don't confirm it. So anyway, they do that. They're inside the house. Like she's in a bed, like kind of just in shock. That's what the doctor says. She's in shock. We have pretty much like, and then slowly but surely, like everyone kind of just is taken out of the place. So the dad for Carol, the original girl, missing's there, and they're like, one of the policemen's like, dude, these reporters are keep trying to get in. Do we have anyone to talk with them? And I think the dad says that he would go talk with them. And then I think Nash does something else stupid, or something happens where
the dad gets passes out, right?
The dad passes out. They take him to the hospital. The detective goes and talks to the reporters to get him out of here. And then there's like a handful of police that just slowly meander out, which was the one thing I was like,
why isn't anyone watching?
Yeah, I'm like, why did they leave this girl unattended? It's like no one is with her, like even just like inside the house. Like they know people were able to get inside this stupid building anyway. So anyway, and it goes in there. The other thing, I think it also confirms that no one checked the attic because
there's a whole lot of evidence in there.
Yes, the sorority mom and Claire are still up there, as we kind of just see her face like in the window with the bag just over it as it slowly pulls out, showing the house where the police officer standing up there. And the end credits of the scene, or the end credits as they're playing, is a phone ringing. So.
And the cops are like,
well, I don't think the cop even recognizes it, but yeah,
he doesn't go inside or
he doesn't
anything.
Go
He's
inside.
Just like,
So, my question: do you think they caught the right person?
My answer is no. The obvious reason I say this is because your favorite scene, do you remember what color that person's eye was?
Mm-hmm. Same thing. Yes, it was a hazel brownish color.
Yeah, and Peter's eyes are blue.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we came with the same conclusion. It sounds like Schrader had a different conclusion.
No, he was more upset that for the movie, he doesn't disagree that it's someone else, but that it's what do you say, a random attack, because none of it is discussed. Like, for me, the biggest like meh thing for me is when horror movies just go, it's mental illness. Mental illness is what makes people kill people. And because there's no setup in this to explain the connections for the sorority house and whoever the person is, then they hinted throughout the movie, he needs help. He's killing people because he's mentally ill. And it's like, it just leans into that. And that's not a rhetoric that like him and I are like fans of.
Yeah. And there's another line why I don't think he was the killer, because it's a real quick line where it's just like after every time he kills, he calls. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, unless there's a sequel to this, I don't think Jess is alive. I think Jess got killed.
Oh yeah, because the phone ringing.
The phone ringing, yeah. It's like, so, it's like, dude, all you have to do is blame Nash, and everybody be like, oh, that idiot.
Like, I like, on one part, I like the vagueness of it, and how it's not clean and it's open-ended, but on the other hand, it's like, but random deaths, like, eh.
Yeah.
Like, why the sorority house? Why the phrasing? Who is this family that the person is using voices to cover up for? Like, eh.
This movie's been remade at least 2 other times, right?
I knew of one of them.
Yeah.
Let me look up. Because there was one, was it like 2014?
Yeah, I know there's one.
There's a 2006.
Yeah.
With a 4.6. And then there's a 2019, not 2014. 2019 has a 2.0 on Google.
Hey, it just keeps getting better. I wonder if it builds into like I don't know. Like part of me, like I like, as you were saying, I like the vagueness of it, and just or like just random chance of just it was just some dude, which makes it even a little bit more creepy, I guess, of just like, so wait, it wasn't this dude that all the evidence was pointing to.
I sent you a Letterboxd
I saw
review.
that. I saw. I just looked over, and I like the profile picture of that person, Shelley Dufresne. So I don't know. It's like I guess my brain died. Whatever I was thinking of, but I think like just the way this was shot, like in the time, like when we were watching it, like the 70s to now, like as we said, like 40 something years later, almost 50. It I think it like at least for me it was a little bit refreshing because to watch where it's like it's very much just the people that are there, and it's like it wasn't like just a lot of focus. Like there was like a lot of pointings, like this guy's super stressed out and has mental, as you were saying, like mental issues that are making him do this. But I don't know. Like I part of me just wonders if like the remakes, if there's like an extra like extra scenes where it's just like, no, this, we're letting you know who it is, and this is why, and like all this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I think one thing I do like about this movie is that it's all like action starts, and it's like, good luck figuring out because we didn't feel like writing an ending.
That's fine. I'm not asking them to like show me who the killer is.
Yeah.
I'm not asking them to tell me all of his motivations.
Mm-hmm.
What we were more looking for is like, why the sorority house?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I don't know, in other horror movies like Hereditary, it all seems random, but it actually matters and is connected, right? Like that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Like what's that little piece that makes this guy attack the sorority house?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it his childhood home? Does one of the women remind him of his mother or of whoever Agnes is? You know, just like that little.
It's the spirit of the soon to be aborted child. I came back, mother.
But yeah, the review, I don't think you read it out loud, but the review I saw in Letterboxd that I sent to D-Payne was, maybe the real slasher was the misogyny we made along the way. Because most of this movie is just like women being like, we have a problem, and everyone going, oh honey, go take a nap.
Yeah.
Oh honey, is your boyfriend harassing you?
Yep.
Oh honey, she's probably shacked up with her boyfriend in a cottage. And they go to the boyfriend and go, hey, your girlfriend's missing. He's like, oh no.
Yeah, dude, his hockey uniform was way scarier than anything else in the movie.
I know, I was very confused by it.
Yeah, but not the funny thing, but it all came from mostly one person, Nash, and it's like, why is that person the one taking all the calls when it seems like everyone has a problem with him? But what was it? The other thing I thought, like, it made me laugh a little bit, where it's just like the detective is in there meeting with the mother of the missing 13-year-old, and Claire's boyfriend Phil and Jess come in, and they're just like yelling at Nash like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, there's a college girl missing. And it's like the detective's just like, hold up, Heck with this missing 13-year-old. I hear female college students missing.
Yeah, I was curious if Chris was like related to the detective, because they were like on a first name basis.
Yeah, or
like
maybe he just got
brothers or
arrested a lot.
Maybe that.
But yeah, no, it felt like. Let's see. We can look at the IMDb. Do they have the same last name?
Do they have last names in this movie?
On the IMDb, they do. Everybody except for
Ken
the
girls. Chris. No, that's Claire. Chris Hayden. Oh, I guess maybe not related.
Yeah, Chris Hayden, and then Fuller. I don't know.
But in any case, how are we on the timer?
I
felt like you said 10
ended.
minutes.
Yeah, it just ended.
So, I was like, it feels like about 10 minutes past.
I think it stopped like a minute or two ago, but we were still discussing stuff. But I was waiting for a lull. But yes, we did finish said timer.
Is there anything else you want to squeeze in before I ask you some questions?
Let me just scan my notes real quick. I will say, smoking is not as prevalent in films today, and so the fact that just everyone was just popping cigarettes, it just, I'm like, okay. I think, what is it? Call of Cthulhu. That's how you can, if you're tired, you can either take no, it's Delta Green, which is like very similar. Modern day Call of Cthulhu, but it's very much if you don't get a full night's rest, you can take stimulants in the form of coffee or drugs, and or you can just chain smoke to stay awake. Let's see, just yeah, we're finished, covered everything.
Okay.
So
then I will go ahead and ask you a couple questions. Were you rooting for anyone to make it to the end?
The cat.
As far as we know, he did. And I was worried. I was like, there's a cat in the very beginning. I hope the cat doesn't die. The cat never seemed to die. But Strider did make the joke. He was like, meow, Mom, I'm eating a body in the attic. Meow.
Yeah. I think I wrote down as like, wow, the cat found the murderer and solved the case way before anybody else.
I know. The cats are like, meow, you haven't fed me in 3 days because you can't find me. Meow.
Yeah. That, and it's got that going on with the... between Alien, Black Christmas, and Bloodbeat, the cat.
Cats are important.
Cat is important, but no, I think I was rooting for Jess. I was just like, she seems like a very rootable person for, like, wasn't like. I think I liked her character because, like as you're saying, she wasn't an idiot. She wasn't being stupid, like, maybe except for the end. But then again, we can blame that on Nash for being Nash,
for scaring her.
Yeah, but but like, she felt like a competent person that was in. That I'm like, I don't think she's gonna make it, but I hope she does.
Yeah, the only other person that I liked Phyllis. Because I think she was a supportive and good friend, where she was just kind of like there. Like, she wasn't really main character energy, but she was like a good supporting castmate. But I knew she wasn't going to make it to the end based on like how this movie's trajectory was going. So I wasn't really rooting for her. I was just like, I don't want to see her die.
Yeah. She was also the one where like Barb's like, it's all my fault. She's like, go to bed, okay?
Relax.
You're overreacting. No one's blaming you.
And you're drunk.
And you're pissing me off. Get out of here.
Yeah. So I thought she was a fun character. Then
wait a second. Barb was Lois Lane in the Superman movies?
Yeah, Strider was like, I recognize her, and found that out.
So did I. And then I was like, I don't know why she looks familiar. And then I just clicked on her name right here. And I'm like, hold
up. Would you consider this more Christmas or more Halloween?
I would consider this more Christmas. It is. I think this is very much a Christmas horror movie.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect, like, in the middle of us doing this. Like, it's a good middle point for it. I kind of lean a little bit more towards this being a little bit more Halloween-y, only because, with our Christmas-like things, the thing that's missing is, on our Is It a Christmas Movie, is there's no moral.
Yeah.
Unless the moral is it pro or anti-abortion? I can't tell. There was a lot of yelling about that.
Or don't listen to dumb cops.
Or dumb boys.
Don't
give up
to
your
men.
dreams. Yeah.
Live your dreams.
Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, because there was a Santa, there were decorations, there was Christmas music. It did take place during Christmas. There's just no real moral. So I think that's why I give it a little bit more towards Halloween. But a pretty close 50-50.
Yeah, I guess, like, for me, it was just the way the movie was set. I think it would be, like, could the general theme of this movie be done any other time of the year? Yes. But the way this film rolled out, I find it hard for it to be set in any other, like...
I think the only other... There's
maybe
only two
Thanksgiving.
other... I was thinking there's only 2 other times a year that I could see this happening. I wasn't thinking Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is a short enough break that I don't think everybody goes home. But what I was thinking is this could happen during, like, spring break.
Yeah.
Because people are, like, expected to be leaving. And then the other one I was thinking is, like, summer break.
Yeah, I could see both of those.
Just because of the premise of sorority girls going home for, like, a season.
Yeah, I could see it. And then, also, if this movie's Canadian, it would fit more into... Thanksgiving is the second Monday of October. So, I don't know if it closer to that, but they chose Christmas.
They chose Christmas.
Like, the killer even wrapped up the present for her father to find. Just was really good at hiding the present.
Oh. Do you think the movie could have taken place without it being during Christmas? Like I said, I'm 50-50.
I think we just answered that.
Yeah. I think Christmas is a better premise for all of it.
Yeah.
Because they were also throwing a lot of parties and getting pretty drunk before all heading out.
That, and I don't know.
I still don't understand why they had orphans go to a sorority house to see Santa Claus.
The 70s were a wild time. But I don't, that, and, like, I think searching for the missing child in like the dead of winter also is a little bit different than when it's warmer out. Because it's, yeah, like, could you still hide a body well? Not that I would know, but yeah, like, in any season.
Or do you know?
I plead the fifth. But yeah, there's that, but then I don't know, the fact, like, I think like, in that scene, like, winter almost is like a character in its own, which is a little bit confusing later when Peter's running around just in a turtleneck sweater.
Yeah, not in a jacket. And then there's another scene where the cops are coming to the house and there's no snow on the ground as they're driving through a city. And we were like, what city is that in? Because it doesn't look cold when they're driving through this.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I guess it all depends when they filmed it. So
yeah. And then, does this meet your criteria for a Christmas movie? We kind of also already answered this.
It's a movie.
It's more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard because there's a Santa in it. Oh, wait, but does Die Hard have, did we say it has a Christmas moral? Don't live across the country for your wife.
I think as much of a Christmas moral that we gave this movie.
Then what is your overall rating?
I'm comfortable giving this, like, a 7. Like, I think.
Yeah, I was about a 6, so I'm okay at 6.5.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, it's I wouldn't mind watching it again at some point, but I am a little bit curious to see like the remake.
Remakes.
Yeah, I guess the thing that I do find like the concept of that the movie of pretty much calling the person from inside, like finding he's gone from inside the house, like I think that's I don't know, I think that's lost a little bit with the age of cell phones and stuff.
It was really fascinating to see the guy run around in the phone operating
Yes.
place.
Like
Keep him on the line longer.
and he's like, dang it.
Jess, you need to keep the man on the phone longer. And Jess is like, well, you see, it's very uncomfortable having to listen to this man moan and groan and scream at his family in my ear. And he's like, I guess you're right, but do better next time. I'm like, detective, give this girl a break.
To be fair, she doesn't say a thing. Like, she's just like...
No. The one time she was just like, oh my God. And he's like, what was that about, Jessica?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing you need to know about.
Did something hit too close to home? Oh, it's fine,
Yeah,
it's fine.
Your questions. Now leave me alone. So, but yeah, it's... I forgot what I was about to answer.
It's funny how the better a movie is, the less that we have to, like, say.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like us, like, how do we even begin to talk about Ginger Dead Man? That movie was barely an hour, and we could not get all of our thoughts out in time.
Yeah, well,
But
we
Black
also had
Christmas-
an extra person.
We did also have an extra person. But yeah, and then Black Christmas, we're like, yeah, good,
Yeah, it's...
fun.
I don't know, we talked more about the mystery of it. But, yeah, it's just a well done movie, and I don't know, I think this is the shock factor of a killer calling from inside the house wouldn't have the same effect as it would back then, because like, yeah, cell phones.
Yeah.
It's technology, fun.
Yeah, here are the genres listed for it: horror, slasher, mystery, thriller, psychological horror, and then cult film and indie film.
Mm-hmm.
I take it by cult they mean like cult classic,
Yeah.
which I would agree. Yeah.
I don't know. I think if I was gonna remake it though, it's like I think rather than going around to everybody, I think it would be a much more interesting, like not much more interesting, but like if it was remade, an interesting take would just to be from a single perspective, and like of them inside the house already, and it's like people are missing, and it's like maybe just Barb and Phil are still there, and then it's like little vignette flashbacks or something of like, but all from her perspective, not like what the cops are learning and everything else. It's just like, woo. So, but yeah, I don't know. Enjoyed my time. So, but unless you got anything else you would like to say.
Let's see. There's a short list of goofs in the movie, so let's see. Oh, I like this continuity goof. Peter was outside the sorority when Jess was attacked and hid in the basement. It makes no sense that he would know to look for her in the basement first, out of the whole house. Strider pointed that out. I was like, I also don't know why Peter would assume his girlfriend was hiding in a basement.
That's how he got in.
I like this. When Claude the cat is first seen during the first malicious phone call, he's rather short-coated, but later he becomes conspicuously more shaggy, and it has 5 dislikes.
That's what people are going to say about this. Hop had a lot more colorful hair, but then it completely changed style for one episode and then returned.
Oh, yeah, I like this. Barb is clearly not pushing down on her inhaler as she's breathing in the mist when she's having her asthma attack. Jess, an American college student, has a noticeable British accent as a result of being played by actress Olivia Hussey, who, although Argentinian, was raised in Britain. However, Jess could have been raised in Britain to the point where an accent could have developed before moving to North America with her parents. You didn't have to explain away the fact that all of us were confused that she was British. Yeah. All right. I don't have anything else to add about this movie. I will say
the hook that impales Miss Mac is clearly not sharp or heavy enough to penetrate skin. And one
Thank you,
person
communities.
said that's helpful. I'm like, what?
But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. We always appreciate you, or watching, or wherever you are. Feel free to leave us likes, reviews, comments, wherever you're watching us. Share us with other people. And next week we will be watching
Rare Exports.
Rare Exports. So us in the past have already watched this, but you'll hear our impressions of that movie.
I just
next
edited
week.
this yesterday, and oh my goodness, I found the thing where there's every once in a while, and 9 times out of 10 I can never find them. Where I was like, that's gonna be the cold open. I found this one again, and it is the cold open, and it is. It still cracks me up as one of my favorite Hop reactions to something stupid I say.
Oh boy, I don't remember.
It's not like you say anything specific. It's just like it's
audible sigh.
No, it was just like a shriek of laughter. 'Cause I think it was when I said, I guess, a little preview for next week, Pecker Army. And then it was just, I don't know. It still cracks me up. Like, anyway, I'm going to stop talking about it. You guys can
tune in next week to find out what Payne is trying to explain and not explain at the same time.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.